Beloveds, sometimes the Spirit wants you to move. Sometimes you go into creating a service and it's not the message that you're meant to preach. So, beloveds, the message I am preaching to you today is going to be just a little bit different. Beloveds, I am tired. I am sick and tired. I am tired of being sick of racism, sick of COVID, sick of these people not wearing masks. I am sick of folks willing to imbibe Clorox before taking a potentially life saving shot. And I get it. If for health reasons you can't take the shot, or if for lack of resources and transportation that you haven't gotten it, I get it. And I'm sick of being tired emotionally, physically, burned out because of Zoom meetings, worn out worrying about my family and other beloveds in case they might get it. I am sick of watching the news and seeing Border Patrol officers attacking my Haitian siblings like they are slaves running towards freedom. Friends, I am scared for humanity. I am scared for humanity. Church, I don't think you heard me. I am scared for humanity. It is really beginning to feel like we are living in the end of days. We are living in a time and in a place where things that were once a miracle seem like distant dreams or only fairy tales. We are living in a world where the very soul of the people is being diminished. I'm going to ask you some questions in just a minute in hopes of sharing a little truth with you. And then from your own understanding, maybe I can share a little hope with you. Do not get me wrong. I am grateful to have been born in the United States, the land of dreams and limitless possibilities. A land where a person can take a little bit of nothing and make it into something. This land where you can now become a millionaire by just being able to influence people. And although I am grateful, and although I am present, I am tired, as I am sure that many of you are tired. Now, as we get ready to do this brief exercise, I ask you to please keep your hands up or your digital hands up as I go through this list. If you believe there are more than 20 people of color in our congregation, raise your hand. If you believe there are more than 10 people of color in our congregation, raise your hand. If you believe there are more than 10 immigrants of color in our congregation, raise your hand. If you have ever been the only voice as a person of color or an immigrant of color in a committee, raise your hand. If you have ever felt like your voice was not heard or your ideas expressed were not understood in our congregation, raise your hand. If you have ever felt alone in our congregation or in this faith, raise your hand. Now let's pause and take a moment to look at the room for a minute. If you can, put your Zoom on gallery view. And for those of you in person, look around the room and then look at the screen. And Eric Birch, I'm looking at you to scan the room so folks on Zoom can see you all in the sanctuary. So give it just a moment and look around. you may all lower your real or digital hands. I have been a Unitarian Universalist for 13 years, and although that is not a long time, that's also not a short time. I have witnessed the good and the bad that our faith can offer. And I have been left with one question, which I pose to you today. What if we said no? You may be asking, what no am I talking about? Am I talking about the no that you tell a beloved when you are just too tired and can't make dinner? Am I talking about the no that a caregiver tells a child when the child is asking for more of a treat? Or am I talking about the no that you tell telemarketers when they call or when they approach you? No, I am talking about that sacred no. That no we each hold inside. I'm talking about the no that resides in us because we can no longer be the one representative for our whole race, for our whole country. I'm talking about the no that resides in us when we have had enough and we need a break. I am talking about the no that is inside each of us that says, I have boundaries and you cannot cross them. I am not talking about just here in this congregation. I am talking about the world. What if we stopped and just said no? What if we didn't rush back and act like business was usual? What if we didn't act like the last 2 years were an inconvenience? What would happen if we didn't act like creating and holding digital spaces wasn't an accessibility issue? What if it was a part of our normal plans? So, what if we said no? And I'm talking again about that holy no inside each of you that says, I am not your token. I am not your token black. I am not your token gay. I am not your token elder. I am talking to that holy no inside you that says you will not have me work 48 plus hours a week without adequate compensation. I am talking about the holy no inside of you that may say, I will not take just any job because you have decided what I should do with my life. I am talking to the holy no inside of you that says, I am a whole person, regardless of my ability levels, and you cannot push extra out of me, and you will not exclude me. I am talking to the holy no inside of you that has run out of spoons. I am talking to the holy no inside of each of you that centers your mental health and self-care first. So what if we say no? What would be the grand consequence if we leaned into our personhood and said we have needs? Would we be asked to leave? Would we be challenged on every decision or choice we made? Would we be any worse off than we already are? Or would we challenge the status quo? Would we, could we say a collective no to make a statement? What if we, what would happen if we said, no, this is not a country that is white only? That this is a country of the people of the greater majority, that this country belongs to black and brown and indigenous and Asian and all people? What if we said that this country also belongs to people who are not from the United States of America? The United States was built off the backs of immigrants and enslaved people. It was built from people who knew that there was a better way and that we would get there one day. It was built off the backs of people in each generation that had a dream. People that dreamed they could do more and be more than the generation before them. It was built on a dream that was greater than Dr. King's dream. It was built on the promise of salvation, that eternal dream. What would happen if we said no to the fear and expectations that people tried to place upon us, saying, I can't be racist because my partner is a person of color? Or, are you sure you're right for that position? Or, I need you to work these 3 different jobs, but you still will only be paid part-time with no benefits. Or they say, but someone needs to pick the tomatoes. What if we said no to them and that programming, and instead we said yes to building community? What if we said yes to the possibility of something bigger at work? What if we said yes to our elders and ancestors who started this anti-racist, anti-oppressive work? What if we said yes, that we will continue this work, that we got this, that we are not just a faith in action, we are a movement? What if we took up the mantle and started to create the communities we need to spiritually sustain us? What if we here in this congregation created our neighborhood groups where we could gather and eat and talk about hard things? What if we took up the mantle and said, we are the ones we have been looking for, the ones we have been waiting for? What if we said that building a true beloved community was like building a communal table, where we are a part of planning that table? What if we took the time to gather in spaces like today, some virtual, some in person, and some a mixture of the two, where we can honor one another, we can teach one another, we can love on one another? What if we created spaces where we can communicate on our own terms, in our own languages? And I don't say this to exclude anyone. I say this to model what the possibility of a true beloved community can be beyond the 4 walls of the church. What if we said yes to the possibility that each and every one of us is exceptional people, and we are qualified for whatever endeavors we apply to? What if we leaned in and encouraged our siblings in this faith to pursue those high offices at local and state levels? What if we mobilized behind one another, supporting and showing the movement that can happen like in Georgia? Just imagine how we could change this world. What if we helped people show up? If you don't have a car, let me give you a ride. If you do not have enough food, let me get you a plate. If you don't have a place to stay, I got space on my couch. If you are disabled and need assistance, then ask, how may we help you? What if we were in that world of a heart-focused community? What if we were those people? What if we were the possibility of something greater that has been blocked for so long, caught in the gaze of white body supremacy? What if we are about to get free? Before I leave you, I want to just share 2 last thoughts to ponder on. What if we said no before we ever said yes? And in the words of our elder and ancestor, Marjorie Bowens Wheatley, if recognizing the interdependence of all life, we strive to build community, the strength we gather will be our salvation. And so I say to you, church, may we be the gift that is our own salvation. Blessed be Amen. And may it be so.